Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 2308, and today's date is October 21st, 2020, and the title of the episode is Central Bank Announces Their Plan for the Reset, Trump Brings the Hammer. Let's talk about staying healthy. I know how important collagen is for the body. 70-90% of your skin, joint, tendons, and bones are made up of collagen. Your gut depends on it. Even your hair and nails contain collagen. I also know that after 20 years old, collagen production decreases by about 10% every decade. And if you want to look healthy and younger, you could take Ageless Multi-Collagen. You can just add 1 scoop to it with whatever you're drinking, coffee, protein shake, and in less than a month, you'll experience younger looking skin, more vibrance, and more energy. Ageless Multi-Collagen works by providing powerful nutritional support that promotes skin, hair, nails, joints, bone, teeth, and gut health. There's also none of those nasty ingredients like GMOs, fillers, or artificial ingredients, and it's tasteless, odorless, and mixes smoothly. Get Ageless Multi-Collagen for 51% off plus free shipping by going to healthwithx22.com or click the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, Trump and the Patriots, they have the deep state, the central bank, exactly where they want them. And there's nothing they can do at this point. We're heading towards the election. Trump is in total control of the entire economy. He's getting ready to play the Trump card, the economic Trump card, plus his other cards. And it's all going to come down around them. And the deep state players, the corrupt politicians that are trying to get back into power with Joe Biden, it is going to be absolutely impossible. Think about what Trump has done since he came into office. Remember, he's not a politician. He's a businessman. And he knows about trade deals. He knows about debt. He knows about how to build a business. He knows how a business goes bankrupt. He knows how to bring a business back from bankruptcy. He's experienced all this. Biden and all the other politicians, they've never built anything in their lives. And this is why Trump can build the economy. This is why he can separate the United States from the central bank system and actually make it so the rest of the world sees this and they will eventually move along with the United States. And I do believe this is a plan, and I don't think he's working alone. I think there's many other leaders out there that are on his side, that are ready to go up against the central bank system. And he's preparing to do this. So if you look at what the corrupt politicians have and what they are doing right now, they're trying to blame everything on Trump because he didn't handle the pandemic well. That's their entire agenda. This is their story. And they're continually trying to convince everyone that the economy is terrible. It's crashed and all the people don't have jobs. Yes, there's a lot of people that don't have jobs, but he brought the unemployment rate down from the high teens. They said it was going to go to 30%, and they brought it down to what? 7.9%. Think about the international trade deals where he implemented tariffs on China. We had Biden, Obama in office. We had the Clintons in office. And what did they do with China? Absolutely nothing. The Bushes, nothing. They let China become a manufacturing powerhouse. Took jobs away from the United States. A lot of the manufacturing went to other countries. What did they do about it? Nothing. Actually, Obama, when he was president, he was saying this was the new normal. Get used to it. So Trump, he placed tariffs on China because America came first. And what happened? The Iron Range, all of a sudden, was now back in business. Steel production. Remember, Trump, he's the first president to attack China's trade policies. Not only did he put $350 billion in tariffs on China, but pledges more negotiations if he wins. Biden did nothing in 47 years. How about taxes? He reduced taxes in 2018 and is now allowing the deferral of payroll taxes for lower and middle-class wage earners. And if he gets elected, guess what? They won't even be deferred. Most likely, they won't even have to pay it back because I think his plan is to basically get rid of taxes. Once you get rid of the central bank, you don't need the income taxes. And yes, the mainstream media is out there and they're reporting that this is all temporary. But watch what happens when he wins again. What do you think Biden's going to do with taxes? He's going to raise income taxes. Yes, he's saying, oh, for those people making $400,000 or over, you're going to be taxed. But those people under $400,000, you won't be taxed. Well, if you go back to the Obama and Biden administration, He said no one's going to be taxed. We're not going to raise taxes on people. So what did they do? Well, it was a stealth tax. They gave it to those who didn't take the health insurance. So everything that he's saying did not come true. He lied back then. He's going to lie again. This is what politicians do. Just like with fracking. He tells people he's for fracking. Then on his site and everywhere else and in his speeches says he's against fracking. No matter where he is, he'll just go with the flow. Oh, if I lie to you about this, I'll get your vote. So how can you believe this individual on the economy? You can't. What did Trump do with regulations? Well, he cut regulations. Where? Agriculture, education, environmental, finance, health, housing, labor, and transportation. And he said for every one new regulation added, nearly 8 regulations have been terminated. And he's going to deregulate even more in his second term. What about Biden? Well, he's going to walk back those regulations. He's going to look at labor, environment, and housing and energy. He's going to walk it back. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to sign on to the Paris Climate Agreement. Let's talk about our health. We all know that after 20, collagen production in our body decreases about 10% every decade. And if you add 1 scoop of Aegis Multi-Collagen to whatever you're drinking, coffee, protein shake, doesn't matter, in less than 1 month, you'll experience younger looking skin, more vibrance, and more energy. You'll see a huge difference in your health, in your skin, in your hair. Aegis Multi-Collagen works by providing powerful nutritional support that promotes skin, hair, nails, joint, bone, teeth, and gut health. Get Aegis Multi-Collagen for 51% off plus free shipping by going to healthwithx22.com or click the link below. He's going to bring the United States to its knees. That was their plan from the beginning. This is why they don't like what Trump is doing, because they're undoing everything that they've done to this country. They don't want this. Remember, their plan was to bring it into a third world nation. Their plan was to have the United States lose the war. Their plan was to have the U.S. a third world country. Why? To blend it in to the rest of the world. And if Biden gets elected, they're going to continue with the plan. Now, is it really Biden? I don't think so. I think there's so much pressure on him right now, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. But think about what Trump is doing right now with the economy, with the central bank establishment. Yes, they have Europe. Yes, they have Asia. And the United States, Trump is controlling the Federal Reserve. And it seems that what he's doing right now will most likely incentivize foreign nations to use their currencies for trade. Why is that important? Because under the petrodollar system, they've been using the Federal Reserve note. And now, each country will use their own currency for trade. Interesting. Why is he doing this? Remember, everything that he's doing right now, he is planning for that reset, for this transition that's coming up. Remember, the central bank system, the global system, has been crashing for a very long time. The IMF has already announced their plan. Now, this is the IMF MD. They gave a speech called a New Bretton Woods Moment. So, wait a minute. Wasn't the Bretton Woods deal made in the 40s? Yes, it was. Now, think about the timeline here. First, we had the central bank, the Federal Reserve, come online in 1913. After World War II, 1944, they created the Bretton Woods Agreement. And in 1970, it was the second Bretton Woods moment. Why? Because they wanted to come off the gold standard. They wanted, and I'm talking about the central banks, they wanted to bring this to the next level. So in the 40s, we were attached to gold all the way up to the 70s. Slowly but surely, they were detaching the country from the gold peg. So as we move forward and we got into the 60s, this was their moment where they started to create the parallel economy. This was the petrodollar in the Middle East. This is why Kissinger went over there to formulate this entire plan with Saudi Arabia and many other nations. And the U.S. promised, listen, if you use the dollar for your oil sales, the U.S. will protect you. And any country that deviates from this plan, we're going to have to put them back on this plan. This is why back in 2001, right after 9/11, this is why you saw the U.S. go into each and every one of these countries. Libya, Lebanon, Iraq, Afghanistan. They were pushing into Syria because they were forcing these leaders to stay on the dollar. A lot of these leaders were selling the oil using their own currency or gold or something else. And they needed to stop this because their system would have crashed. And this is why we see endless wars in this region. What has Trump done? He's reversed all this. Why? Because he's preparing to get away from the Federal Reserve note, to get away from the petrodollar. And this is why the central banks, this is why they're pushing forward. They're doing this on purpose because they have no other alternative. Their system was always crashing. They needed an event. They're blaming it on the pandemic. And they're saying this is the perfect time for a new Bretton Woods. And Section 1 was titled A Sisterhood and Brotherhood of Humanity. In notes, today we face a new Bretton Woods moment. And they want to build a new economy. Now, think about it. When these countries sign on to this new Bretton Woods, just like they sign on to the Paris Climate Accord, and Trump breaks away from the private Western central bank system, they're going to see something very, very different. They're going to see their system implode, and they're going to see the United States shine, because the central bank system will not be able to compete with a country that is backed by sound money. And it'll be very, very difficult to do. And Trump, he will take a hammer to all these other countries and the central banks. And I do believe Trump is just waiting for the right moment. Remember, Trump knows that this system cannot last forever. Before he was president, he was talking about this quite often. When he became president, he realized how bad the country was, just like he realized how deep and wide the swamp was. And before he can detach us from the Federal Reserve System, he needed to rebuild the country, used all their weapons and everything that they have against them. Keep the illusion going. This was on purpose. Yes, he could have just pulled the plug, but it would have been a disaster for every single person. Actually, this is what Hillary was going to do with a war. She was going to pull the plug on the economy and tell everyone, you need to sacrifice. You're not going to get food in the stores. You're not going to get toilet paper in the stores. It's going to be a complete and utter disaster. There's going to be a credit freeze. It was going to be a nightmare, plus war. Trump saw this and said, okay, we need to do this in a different way. We need to bring the manufacturing back quite quickly. We need to make new trade deals. We need to get rid of all these regulations. We need to get rid of a lot of the taxes so people have more currency in their pocket. We need to bring back industry in certain areas. We need to stop what China is doing because all the supply chains are in this area. We need to bring back medical manufacturing. We need to set up manufacturing plants here in the United States. And this is what he's been doing. Because he's been planning, he's been prepping for this moment. And now we see the central bank, the IMF, is out there saying, no, we need another Bretton Woods. Because why? Our system's crashing. We need to do something completely different. And yes, it will be completely different. Remember, in the 70s, the U.S. came off the gold system, moved right onto a fiat system. Now, the central banks, they need to explain away why their system's imploding. Of course, they're not just going to come out and say, hey, it's imploding, but their new Bretton Woods is not going from a gold-backed system into full fiat. Their system with all this debt, they're going to have to explain away why all this debt is going to disappear. And one way of doing it is, listen, if you take our injection, if you do what we say, if you sign up to this, we will forgive your debt. Will a lot of countries do that? I do believe so. Yes, they can make it very easy for these people to do this, to get them on the new system. But once again, Trump, he's going to show the world what the system is like without the central bank. And will the debt disappear here? Absolutely. All Trump has to do is investigate the Fed, show criminality, and poof, it's going to be all gone. And yes, to restart a system, you can do that, especially if the Federal Reserve has gone against its mandate and they show criminal activity. And I do believe in the end, this is what Trump is going to do. Trump is going to drop the hammer on the central bank establishment. This is where he's leading up to. And once he's in the second term, he's going to go all out against China, against the EU, against the World Trade Organization. That's where the new battle is going to be. Yes, we're still going to have the investigations. Yes, we're going to have the arrests of the other individuals. But as that's wrapping up, the next battle is going to be waged, and it's going to be against the central bank system. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.